Alright, so we're here with Tony Ballsack Bennington.
What's up?
He's, oh, welcome. This is Let's Talk Bikes episode 3 now. We got some guests. We have an audience. We got Darfelt, Fred, clean your room.
Yeah.
Annika. Taylor. Alright, this is Tony's Superbike. We're gonna talk about racing. This episode's about racing. Anyway, he wanted to start it up because
We're gonna smell a little race gas.
yeah, he's
that Nels built.
two-wheel dynos.
That's
all day. There you go. Here we got Tony Bennington. If you guys don't know him, he's been in some of the earlier videos. He's the reason I actually got back into canyon carving, because when I first started riding, like this is how riding works. You start riding, you don't know shit, right? About a decade, right? You don't know shit. And then you run into some people that you think you're fast, and you run into some people that are fast, and you're like, holy shit! And that's what, like 10 years ago, that's what happened to me. I was like riding for a year, street rode with some racers, and you know, I ate some humble pie, like you said. And then I got into club racing, and then I got out of it, joined the army, came here, and nobody was riding. Like the people I rode with, I've been here for like 3-4 years, like at that time, and everybody I rode with, so I don't want to say they sucked ass, but they were slow, like they didn't ride like I did. So I just kind of like kept it that way up until I met up with them on Highway 7, and this guy just buzzes me like around this corner. I'm like, oh, fast. Right? They were talking about it. Him and
to be fair, you didn't know the road at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you actually got real fast on the road after a while, but
yeah, it's because I think like not hanging out with people that like, because there's a small amount of people that kind of think like us, really. We're always just like, fucking let's
go track day this mountain.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And you know, we got a lot of heat for riding that road. You know, from a lot of local pages, a lot of people started crashing there when I started like making like these canyon videos, and I throw them up on Facebook pages, because he was out there before me doing that shit, but he wasn't recording it. And then I think you started once before. You had like a little onboard, and I was like, yo, this guy knows this fucking road, dude. Yeah. I was like, I gotta go meet up with him. He knows his shit. And then it was just kind of like history, you know. And then now he's club racing locally at Wimmera. He's doing when did you start?
I believe April 20th and 21st were my first 2 races.
And there's been 4 total?
I've had 5 races.
Okay.
I got disqualified out of Sportsman because there's a minimum breakout time, and my lap timer broke on the first lap.
This is a Superbike.
And I started chasing the guy who was real fast.
This is a Superbike build.
And not paying attention.
There's a difference. If you guys
we broke out by about 3 seconds.
Oh shit.
So, but a good time.
What, 5 races? One got DQ'd because he was too fucking fast.
There's Tony right there.
Shut the fuck up.
Dude, he's already so fucking far ahead, dude.
Look at that fucking gap, bro. Look at that fucking gap.
But 3 seconds?
Yeah, it was my first intro into the expert category. Yeah.
Okay. So, out of those 5 races, so you've never club raced before?
No.
This is your first year.
It is.
Out of those 5, minus the DQ, how many have you won? How many titles?
All 4 of them.
So he won all 4. This guy won all 4 novice titles. He would have won 5 if it wasn't for a disqualification on a
08
CBR
1000 RR. Yep. Yeah. And I think though, the bike to me is really special. A guy that I look up to a lot, Mitchell Pierce, still holds the track record on this machine at Pacific. And he did that before it got repaved, with all the chuck holes and crappy pavement everywhere. And even this last round,
he did it pretty much on on street pavement. Then
and it was like 35-year-old pavement, and so it got all repaved and the whole thing. And all the Formula Ultra guys were still a second off his pace on brand new, fully built S1000R Superbikes and all that stuff on the old 08 Honda. So, I think there's something to be said for, feeling comfortable on a machine, and it doesn't necessarily need, all the big fancy electronics and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's really just about feel.
Oh yeah.
He was feeling it.
Oh yeah.
So
we were just talking about that too, because he was saying he got on the grid, and then at the start of the race he just kind of took off on everybody that had bikes with all these electronics, these electronic aids essentially. And we were saying like there's no replacement for just good old-fashioned throttle control really, because you can launch the fuck out of this bike, I bet.
Well, the one main piece of advice that I got from Mark DeGrosse, who is the owner of Too Fast Track Days.
Okay.
And he did a lot of racing. He had a #1 plate and stuff for a long time.
Wow.
And he grabbed me and just said, "Hey man, calm down and go out there and do a street start. Just be gentle with the clutch and just let it out nice and slow and shift into second gear as soon as you get it all the way out." So that's what I did. And the bike just took off. I ended up 8 or 10 bike lengths out.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So once you're in second, you're just...
Yeah, and it'll stand up a little, and then you just shift into third, and by then you're usually right about the first corner and time to tip in. But no, I felt like I was starting really slow because I was letting the clutch out so slow, But I think keeping the RPMs consistent while you're letting the clutch out is the key to
a good launch.
Right, just get it at 9,000-10,000 RPM and just leave it there while you're letting the clutch out nice and easy, and the bike really just does the rest. But yeah, everyone else next to me are throwing these wheelies and the bike's like lurching super hard, and I was just kind of like putting away from the line like, all right, that worked.
Again, like, it just goes back to just your own skills, I think, and especially in racing. And maybe sometimes the nerves get to people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
right?
big time. I mean, you're almost sick to your stomach when you grid up out there.
Yeah, and you're running with what, novice?
Running with novice,
okay.
Yeah. But it's a big grid this year. There's 35 bikes on the grid when we go out there.
Really?
I mean, it's Thunderdome, man. It's...
Oh shit, who was it? I was talking to a racer from Amra, and he's like, yeah, Wimmer's got they don't have as many classes because not as many people race, and then
this year
like the
different.
1,000 classes, like maybe 10 bikes or something, but you're saying there's like 35.
Well, yeah, between the 600s and the 1000s, but like to give you an idea, like last year there were 2 1000s on the grid in novice. Like,
shit,
that was it.
Yeah.
And so somebody was getting a podium, but
right.
But this year, no, there's 10 or 11 1000s and 25 plus 600s out there, and they run them all at the same time.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
So, they run them in sections, right?
So there's like a wave, yeah. So
yeah.
the 1000s will take off, and then there's like a 3-second gap.
And then the 600s will go.
Right.
Got you. Dang, that's pretty intense, man. I think a lot of the viewers wanted to know, kind of like pick the brains of, because I talk about a lot of these bikes, and I talk about my friends that race, and I have a buddy. You guys will see him in June. He's coming up here, and I'm gonna come down there. He races the cripples, right?
Oh, the cripple triple.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
I remember him smashing me at the
the 450.
Yeah,
right?
man, he was on a 3-cylinder R6.
Yep.
And he's like, dude, where'd you go, man?
Yeah. Well, because he'll throw it into turn one with like 40 mile an hour, and you're like, how did that even happen? You know?
Yeah. I think the only place I caught him was in the straights. And then after that, it was just I just see him coming behind me, and he laps me on this little fucking R4, man. Yeah. so talk about your bike and what you think. Again, like I said, there's a difference between this factory Superbike and then this built Superbike. So this is all factory stuff. Everything's factory, and you know this obviously has more rider aids. Right. Where this has essentially no rider aid. The rider aid is him.
Right here.
Yep. It's his right hand, exactly. The jerk hand. Tell us what it takes. Like, tell us, you know, do you have to take off weight? What are like? 'Cause I know you were talking about there's like a minimum weight requirement, right, for it to be considered a race bike in that category. Right. Okay, so go ahead.
So I think this bike's main attribute is the chassis is just really good. Some about the 08 through 15 CBRs. They just handle really well. They turn really well. They carry a lot of corner speed, kind of like the Yamahas in that regard. But the Hondas, you can get them so light once you remove the headlights and all the unnecessary wiring harness stuff. This one has a Superbike tail that weighs literally nothing. I mean, that trellis tubular aluminum tail is you know what I mean? I probably dropped another 5-6 pounds right there. Yeah.
What's great about them is like they bend and then just bend them back, right?
Right. Yeah.
Instead of the cast stuff that just snaps.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And they're just light as fuck.
Yep.
I think that's the thing about Honda when they came out with the 08. I think a lot of people praise them because they shaved so much crap.
Yeah.
Like even like this doesn't have a kickstand, but the kickstand was hollowed out.
Yeah.
Right. And then like there's just a lot of weight savings.
Right.
In this bike when it first came out. And Honda's been in the shadows for a long time. I think ever since the S1000 came out. Right, because
they changed the game in 2010. I mean, they really did. You know?
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah. But I remember there was a there was a comparison between the S1000RR and the CBR 1000RR, and they were very similar in terms of rideability. Yep. Power. Like once you start tuning the CBR. They were pretty close to each other in that regard, right?
Yeah, and I think though what gives this bike such an advantage, and see, a lot of people, they'll look at the spec sheet on like these, newer bikes and all that kind of stuff, and Honda's down on power. I mean, there's no, arguing that. Yeah. But when this bike is 80 pounds lighter than the bike next to me, do I necessarily need the 200 wheel horsepower? And so the other thing, it makes this bike really rideable, and believe it or not, the wheelbase on this bike is almost a full 2 inches shorter than the new S1000RRs and R1s and all that.
So it flicks easier.
It flicks like a 600 and carries more corner speed. It just does. And
so you're saying you have the feeling of a 600 with the power of a liter. Right. So it's like the best combo.
Yeah. Yeah, and I knew this bike was special because I've been watching like British Superbike and World Superbike for a long time, and Ryuichi Kiyanari won so many titles on this 08 CBR 1000RR for that reason, and the guys like Guy Martin and all that, they're running them in the TT, and stuff like that, and I just took the gamble on getting this bike because I just thought, it'd be, as a novice, more rideable for me than, this monstrous 200 some odd wheel horsepower, thing that I have to learn all the electronics on and stuff. Yeah. So what's nice is with the slick on this one, I can get out and launch out of a corner at full throttle, and, it'll spin up a little, but it's manageable, and the whole thing just feels awesome. I mean, and I've never felt another bike that was as stable on the front end as this one either. So,
I believe you. I believe you. Yeah. I mean, it was built to go around a track really, really fast, and I think Nels has a good reputation around here, and this bike has titles under its belt, and Tony's like going out there and proving.
Hondas aren't slow.
Yeah, dude. Like, holy crap, dude! I was watching he sent me some videos, man, and then this guy was like, "Holy shit, dude! Look gap on that, bro!" And I'm like, "Holy yeah!" I kind of thought the same thing. Tony was like, "Wait." It was like watching Marquez when he gaps people, and it's just like he's just kind of in his own realm. Yeah. and everybody else is right here fighting for second. That's what that video you sent me was. That just reminded me of that. But I think the funniest thing is like, yo, you're on an 08
Yeah.
CBR
Yeah.
1000 with no fucking electronics, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't get it, but
The bike works so good, it doesn't really need them. I mean, to be honest, and you know, I think where I make up a lot of that time is just in the corners and
Sure.
you know, and on the brakes, and
well, you have a lot of confidence in the bike.
absolutely,
Yeah.
it's still better than I can ride it by a lot. So I'm
Really?
oh yeah, I'm
Really?
I'm still learning it because it's capable of a lot more.
What is
Yeah.
the weight again?
365 pounds. Yeah, it's light.
Yeah. So with forged Marchesini wheels, it's disqualified.
Yeah, for like Moto
for weight.
America rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if I should say this, but anyway, so when they were out there at Moto America with this bike, Nels was out there and they're trying to figure out how to get this thing to pass tech because it was too light. So they're like sticking wheel weights underneath the gas cap and
what I would
like
think,
filling
yeah.
it full of fuel
Yeah.
and like everything they could do to get it on. It passed by like 4 ounces.
No shit.
You know,
That's
yeah.
funny. That's
Yeah.
funny, man. The guy I bought this from, he had a Super Leger, and he was like bragging about the weight, and I was like, what did it take for, you know, for them to make a factory bike that weighed 300 some? He's like, oh yeah, magnesium this, magnesium that.
Yeah.
Here, the even the spring was like titanium on the shock, and I was like, well, what about that?
Yeah, right. So Honda, yeah.
What do you think about all these new bikes and their electronics? I don't know if.
I think it takes more money than I have to make them good. That's the problem is you know, if you have the World Superbike ECU where you've got 17 modes of traction control and every, you know, power mode and all that kind of stuff, you could really tweak it to where it didn't feel like it interfered. But every modern bike that I've taken out on the track, it's hard for me to go fast on it. I can't go as fast as I can on the Honda because right when I get in a spot where I'm really wicking the throttle wide open like I am on this one, it starts choking power off and stuff, or the ABS is starting to, you know, skip the front wheel or whatever that feeling is, you know, on the brake lever, and just doesn't inspire confidence, you know.
That's crazy, man. So if you were to get like a bike that all the electronic aids, you would be like, nah, just shut it off.
Probably. What's the cool thing about slicks too is, especially the Dunlops, is like once you get them hot, you can put the bike into a drift and not let out of the throttle that much because they're hooking up so hard. They're supposed to do that. Extra soft front and a medium rear on it right now.
Okay. Okay.
And the only reason I went with a medium rear is because I can get a couple of, well, like a track day and then a race weekend out of a rear tire.
Nice. So you're still doing track days on top of racing?
I'll usually go out and do a track day before the race weekend just because, you know, all the fast guys are out there on that track day. You know, and
got you.
Sometimes I can go out there and get a tow from the really fast guys.
Yeah.
And, you know, shake off the cobwebs and stuff like that.
Have you raced in the rain yet or no?
Friday track day before the race weekend was a monsoon at Pacific.
No shit.
And it was tough, man.
You still won that race though.
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
This guy's full of shit.
But it was scary. I mean, you know, I think that's the one place where I might be interested in a little bit of electronics is
Really?
just that one specific scenario. Yeah, because every time I've rode this bike in the rain, except for that last time I wadded it up. Yeah. So, and I never lost the front. It's always the rear. It just makes so much power. It comes around in a circle on me, and I just wad it up, you know. That might be, you know, a good spot. But other than that, if it's dry out and it's warm and I'm on a good slick, let's turn it off.
That's interesting because he just bought Jazz's bike and they're gonna turn it into a Superbike to race, right?
Yes, that's going to be a mean machine. I think when Jazz had that thing dynoed, it was like $199 to the wheel or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, with a $600 exhaust too.
Yeah, right.
With a little Hindle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're actually going to do the World Superbike ECU flash on that.
Okay.
And so hopefully we can find, it's going to take a lot of testing and tuning, but I think if we can find a middle ground with the electronics where I don't like mentally feel it choking the bike out when I'm, you know, trying to get out of corners and stuff, then sure, I'll become a proponent of the electronics and stuff. I don't know.
I know you love that bike though. What did you like about that bike? If we're talking like you don't like electronics, but you like the BMW, what about it did you like?
Well, that's the thing is the wheelbase is a little bit longer on the BMW, which means I do have to tip it over just a little bit farther to carry the same kind of corner speed that I carry on the Honda.
Sure.
But that chassis is stable.
Yeah.
That is a really stable chassis, and it's pretty easy to go fast on. People call them cheater bikes, you know, and
Sure.
I kind of understand that after riding one. It's a stable chassis.
Don't they use that bike at the race school in Laguna or
Oh
something?
yeah, I think once we got the fans off of it and the ABS, get it lightened up to where it feels a little bit more like this one, and it already has the HP4 wheels on it, which is, you know, huge for high-speed corner transitions and stuff, which I noticed right away on the track. It was amazing.
Oh really? So you've taken on?
I did. I took it out for a couple of sessions. But I think the biggest thing about that S1000RR is how hard it digs when you get it wide open past 8,000 RPM. I mean,
It just goes, man.
this is a super bike, don't get me wrong,
Sure,
but that S1000R past 8,000 RPMs feels like somebody pushes you.
Yeah. Well, this has what 180. What is
It's like 188 to the wheel.
Okay, and that one's got about 10 more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, you know, that's a huge difference when you actually feel it. It's not a huge difference numbers wise, but when you actually like are sitting on the bike at the conditions that you should be feeling it,
Yeah.
you do feel it.
But I think the biggest thing for me on that bike actually was how seamless the auto blip was on it. It was so fast.
Butter.
As fast as I could move my foot, it did what I wanted it to do. And I think that if you take clutch in the bike when I'm downshifting out of the equation around the entire track, I mean, I'm saving 2 or 3 seconds a
You're saying
lap.
you don't have an auto blipper on this?
Just a quick shifter, but when I downshift, I have to clutch the.
That's fucking crazy, dude. If I could recommend one modification at the track, it's not gonna be an exhaust. It's gonna be a fucking auto blipper. And
Yeah.
and when I got the auto blipper,
Yeah.
it was after I rode the S1000.
Yep.
Jazz had me ride it around, and then he's like, "Try the auto blipper, dude."
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a light bulb. I was like, "Yo, you can drop time with just an auto blipper."
Oh yeah,
'Cause
2 or
it's
3
like,
seconds because
you don't have to think about it.
right.
You just come in and you see the corner, bow bow.
Yeah.
Bow bow bow. You know what I mean?
No, so I was coming into turn 1 in 6th gear, just hot on that thing,
Right.
and I just went bling bling bling
Right.
into third.
Third.
Got the ass end kind of light, and it just set right in.
Yeah.
But I saved a tenth or two just in the entry of that corner from not having to worry
Yeah, your
about.
left arm's not tense.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
not
not
breaking.
pumped.
Yeah, you're not breaking the geometry of the bike
Yeah.
from trying to pull the clutch in. Like you're in it, and you can stay in it and downshift with just a flick of your left foot.
Right. Yeah, no, it was just mind blowing to me, you know, having that capability out there, and so.
I thought you had an auto blipper on this.
No,
That's crazy.
no, it's still got a cable, man. There's no fly-by-wire on this, so you can't auto blip it. It just is what it is. But the quick shifter works okay, but for whatever reason on that specific bike, it's even a lot better than the 15 S1000R with the same system on it. I don't know what it is about that bike, but it's just so quick and buttery that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that's one of the main reasons I can't wait to get out and race it, because with an auto blipper that quick, I can turn off all the electronics, and if I start to get into a situation where I feel like I'm going to start spinning the wheel up and stuff, I just short shift.
Yeah.
And it's instantaneous. Yeah, I can't wait.
Moto America, World Superbike, BSB, and a little bit of GP.
I watch a lot of all of them, and I think.
What's your favorite one?
Honestly, I gotta say World Superbike.
I'm gonna agree. I kind of stopped watching GP because it's like the same guys in the front.
Well, for me, it's not. For me, it's like. So.
Well, I digress. World Superbike's the same dude in the front too. Fucking Ray won. What was it? Italy. He won the first race again.
Well, yeah, he won Imola, but he got his butt kicked 11 times in a row before that by Bautista.
But,
and
yeah.
Bautista was riding that bike. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I said it before. I said, look, if Ray wasn't the only factory rider, because he was the only factory rider for a while, dude. And I think he even lost to Graves Yamaha back in 09, or I don't know if Ray was racing back then. But
Well, Ducati wanted a ringer, and they had both in that new V4R and in Bautista. I mean, the only reason Bautista wasn't winning MotoGP championships is because he wasn't with a good enough team. I really feel he was.
who was he with?
He was actually, I think the last time he was in MotoGP, he was with Ducati, but it was like an off team. It wasn't like the full-on factory Ducati, like main team, you know.
Yeah, but this is a factory team. Ducati's a factory team. BMW is a factory team. BMW was out there killing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, BMW,
Yeah.
this is their second year, right?
Yeah, they got Tom Sykes on that bike, and he's doing really well. World Superbike, for me, you can see how visceral, fast, and how on the limit they are on those factory chassis that have been modified, and how hard they're riding those. And so as a learning tool, the two races that I watch are Moto America and World Superbike, because it's the closest to what I can build myself
Right.
and get on. Just watching how they use the brakes and the throttle and how hard they're pushing. So that's what I did all winter. I just went through and watched every possible race that I could find on YouTube and just studied as much as I possibly can, trying to figure out my own weak points and you know, show up to the track and try and apply some of that stuff.
I remember when you were texting me about your 150s, and then I think like a couple weeks later, this guy texted me. He's like, "Oh, I'm in the 140s now," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" This guy sold his. He used to have a street bike. It was the SP, the 1000
Repsol SP, yeah.
Repsol SP. And he was doing some crazy shit on that bike, man, in the streets.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
I just knew I couldn't do that anymore, and once I got into the track more, like, it just felt like everything in between the time I was on the track was just waiting to get back on the track, you know?
It just kind of got, I mean, like, it's not the same, dude. Like,
yeah.
It's not. Like, you got cars, you got, you know, all kinds of, like, you really can't open it up as much on the streets as you could on the track.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I started getting close to doing that on the street, and, like, I realized when I was towing a trailer out there and running tire warmers before I hit Highway 7 that it was time to, like, you know...
I remember that.
Yeah.
He was like, "Kent, bring your bike in here, bro. Let's throw the warmers on there so that way you can..." I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Actually, round 3 coming up, June, I think it's 6th and 7th. It's going to be a combined round with OMRA. So all the OMRA racers and WIMRA racers will be at the Ridge dicing it up on this.
If you guys want to know how he does, man, follow him on Instagram. You post your race stuff on Instagram?
Yeah.
Follow him on Instagram. I'll post it right here.
But it'd be cool if you came out to that combined round. It's going to be nutty.
June what?
I think it's 6th and 7th. It's this Saturday and Sunday.
Favorite thing about racing so far?
You know, I actually had kind of the same question, like, why do you race, you know?
Sure.
And I think for me it's not necessarily the competition or any of that. It's that when you grit up, there's a different switch that flips in your mind, and it's not a track day anymore, and it's not, you know, any of that. It's like, I want to go out and see what I can do on the limit of what I'm capable of. Okay. And so for me, it's just about personal bests and then the physics of the machine, you know, understanding that 2 millimeters of preload or a couple clicks of compression or whatever can make the difference between, you know, not having confidence or that thing feeling like an extension of your body. And so it's almost like drugs, you know, like you go out and want that perfect high, and when it happens and it's during a race, there's no feeling like that, you know. So I don't really care how I place, to be honest. It's more about just me and how it feels and what's happening during that, you know, 8 or 10 laps. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man. I guess that I got no other questions. That was a pretty good ending to this Let's Talk Bike episode. So if you guys liked the video, go ahead and hit that comment, like, subscribe, and all that BS. Okay. This Superbike, I love it. You're probably gonna move on from this. What, next year?
I'm actually gonna hang on to that bike to race in classic Superbike.
Oh, nice.
I think it's a shoe-in for that.
Remember has that classic.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "Tony, you can't race here, bro.
No more classic Superbike for you."
Yeah, right. Because you got the old guys out there with their old bikes and shit, man. Yeah, I've seen that class. I watched some YouTube videos.
Hey, 10-year-olds or older,
yeah,
that's the rule, you know?
That's awesome, man. Well, thanks for hanging out, man.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
You guys follow him on Instagram.
Thanks for watching, too.
He's going to be in Moto America soon. I hope.
I hope too.
Man. I hope. Even if he's like the last, I mean, he could do it. I believe in him.
I don't care if I get lapped. I just want to say I did it.
Hell yeah, man.